I know.
I just wanna talk with my brothers, is that too much to ask? Might as well look sharp cause I'm doing it too. Trish and talk, Trish and talk, Trish and talk. I wanna know.
I've known you for a few years, but mainly I've known you through Migration Matters, which we want to talk about. I've sort of seen you in performance, so you're a playwright, you're an actor. I want to talk about that. Didn't realise that actually you escaped going to my sixth form, which I'm a little bit upset with.
The road there.
And also, as we've just been talking about there, that's sort of like, you know, the pathway for, you know, yourself, but in a sense, you know, people from the African and Caribbean community, how you navigate that pathway with regard to the arts. And these are some of the things which, you know, we'd love to talk about. And there's one more I'd really love to get in there, weaved all throughout that there is, and it comes really from some of the work you've done around the child soldiers and the link between
which
Palestine.
is coming back.
Yes, coming back, absolutely. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. And the play did between, you know, that relationship between Palestine and Uganda is migrant trauma. You know, that way in which migrant trauma can actually, there's a story there which often gets overlooked when we're talking about mental health there, because we set up this podcast there really about giving a bit more space to keep that conversation going around, or add to the conversation around mental health within the African Caribbean community, particularly men. So that's where we're coming from. That's a very long introduction. John.
Very lengthy.
It's
very lengthy.
And, you know, myself, Donald and Longani, we are so pleased to have you here.
We're very pleased, man. You know, when you mentioned the like deep in Google, as one does, man. You know, I had to go down the rabbit hole in Google, you know, because you don't really want to come into the space without really any knowledge what it is, or at least, you know, if you're not familiar with the person that is your guest. You know what I'm saying? And
but it's good. It's good to talk, though, isn't
no,
it?
It really is
good to talk. I like just something to mention real quick. Like having, I just turned 31, and having a conversation with two
elders.
You know, not elders. I wasn't gonna say elders. I wasn't gonna say elders.
I found out today. No, this is the thing I found out today. Apparently, you know, like you got like the lower age and then YN. Don't ask me why that is, but then, and then then this guy says, you know, when you get to 50, you know, over 50, you are before up to 55, you are like an OG.
Okay.
You know, like, and then after 55, you are an elder.
Hey.
And I am after 55, so we are elders.
Hey, well, I'm willing to be the elder.
Now, with this young man, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying to be able to have space like this to just talk and conversate and you know and laugh. You know, but also really.
But that's an important thing, that's sort of intergenerational, isn't it, there? Because I think, you know, again, we go back to this mental health there. I actually do think that actually a part of looking after oneself is to have that intergenerational. You know, the way in which, you know, people. I mean, I was born here. I never knew my grandparents, but when I hear people talk about back home, they'll often say back home you've got your gran, you've got your aunties, you've got this, that, and the other, etc. There, and you've got all those different layers of support for those difficult times.
Community, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Community, and it's. When I think when we say back home, we mean community every time. I think because I've been in Sheffield for 20 years now. Of course, this is home, right? But I still say back home.
Yes.
You know, and that home is the umbilical cord. It's calling you back. You know, it keeps you. It's like, hey, this is where you belong.
Yeah.
And there's something about accountability. Being so shared in that community, like from Uganda, for example, if you do something, that the rest of the community will
Will not.
frown upon
Oh,
or
yes.
something, you're gonna
Yes.
think twice.
Yes.
Yes.
You're gonna think twice.
Yeah.
But if you're then removed from that community, you jump on that plane and you're thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thinking becomes a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
So
Because I know, I mean, in your case, you came here at 11. You came directly to Sheffield, I assume.
Sheffield, yes.
So for your, I mean, like, try, I mean, if you can remember, I mean, it's 20 years. So what was your first impressions of coming to this part of the world?
I remember it very well. I remember it very well. I was 11. I remember jumping on getting in the car, getting my jacket. Someone bought for me a woman's jacket because it was going to winter. I didn't even know. So I was wearing this, women's jacket, getting in the plane taking off, and we landed in Birmingham. And I was like, so Uganda, we are coming in a house that's not finished. It's still sort of being built and stuff, but it's on an acre of land. It's got, there's a lot of land. There's fruit and vegetables in the compound. You just go, you pick it up, you eat. We're playing. Friends come, we play football, everything at home, And then we landed in Birmingham. The weather, I was like, what is this? That jacket was nothing, bro. That jacket was nothing. I needed more than the jacket. Landed, and I'm like, oh, yes, we're in the UK. We're going to the UK. I wasn't seeing any of that. I wasn't seeing any of the development. I was feeling the cold. That's what I was feeling. I was feeling the cold, and I was missing home. I was missing being in Uganda. I landed, and the first thing I told my dad was, the ticket. Is the return? Is the return? Can I go back? The first week, I just wanted to go back to Uganda. Then we got to Sheffield, and I remember hearing the accent, and I told myself, no, I'm not gonna learn that accent. I'm gonna try and maintain this accent, and that's why I still sound like this. I came here when I was 11. All my friends who came here around the same age, the sound they don't have African. When they speak, you can't hear a twang of African that's in them. But this was a mental decision that I made that no, I'm gonna try and maintain this accent, and so now it's like it's confused, But I remember thinking, what is this? We came to a council flat, with a family of, I think it was family of 6. We were staying in a 2-bedroom flat, and it all did not make sense to me. I was like, okay.
So there's a real, there was 11 there, and you've really gone into another world, haven't you?
Completely.
And it's,
Oh, sorry about this. I apologize.
And you're 11, and you're trying to manage that transition from, home. You're 11, all the bits which go with adolescence to come, etc. And you've got this happening.
Yeah.
How was that feeling for you then? For those years, particularly secondary school years, where there's a lot of management, and your parents have got to somehow support you through that. At the same time, there's all sorts of stuff they've got to do.
Yeah, I think, I love my parents. So I joined my dad and stepmom here in the UK, and I think there's something about parenting in the African setting, which that's such a big thing, bringing a child here.
Yes.
And I don't know, I felt lost. I felt like I just felt lost. So there was something where I was like, I wanted my parents to just hold my hand a little bit more, but actually they themselves were lost. You know what I mean?
Well, that's something which myself there, when I talk to people my age, I'm 64 now, and we're sort of like children of the Windrush. We now, as older people, can actually recognise the trauma which they were experiencing, which they in turn couldn't give you all the things you might have needed, which clearly you're saying was something you experienced as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I don't think the language had been developed to name it or to understand what it was. that was happening. So you have a thing where parents have come in. I remember my parents telling me that when they first moved to the UK, they would in winter, as soon as it got dark, they would go to bed because it's nighttime.
You've been in bed a long time,
yeah.
not you, in the winter.
In Uganda, sunrise is around the same time all year round.
Yeah.
So it's like, right. So they was still doing the job of adopting, adapting to whatever this was.
Yeah.
And then you bring kids on top of that. Of
Yeah.
course, it's going to be a challenge. Of course.
Yeah.
So I came here in terms of like the big thing was school for me. That was a big shock. I was the naughty kid in Uganda. I was like, I was bad, bro. Ow. I was bad in school in Uganda. Like, they still did whipping. You still got whipped. I think still happens now. But it's that's something you've grown up with. It doesn't feel. It's just like it's life.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Even
life.
though it's not right, yeah, but
It's just part of your culture.
It is part of the
It's
culture,
part of the life you've grown up with. So I used to get, if I went a day in school without being beaten, that was a miracle. Like I was bad. I was the naughty kid in school. Like everybody knew.
But the question is, were you really bad, or you were just a product of who you are? Because this is the thing. I was talking to somebody today actually about the fact that many of us, we grew up with that, mainly because we later finding out that either we were neurodivergent, or like we had all these other conditions that we didn't have a language for, like you were speaking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we didn't know, and we still don't know. Our parents couldn't handle our individuality or the way we presented, how we express ourselves.
Schools struggle with that, don't they? And I think that's what you're saying there. Individuality,
Yes.
there's a conformity expected in school.
Yes.
And if you don't fit that conformity, then actually you're an outlier.
You're the naughty kid.
You're the naughty kid.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely. And for me, I completely agree with you. For me, in Uganda, that model, that conformed, what the thing you needed to be within was very much set within Ugandan British.
The colonial construct has always been that way.
The colonial lens.
Because if you remember, I can't remember if I mentioned this to you, but we will be in school. We will get beaten. You went to watch a film, community theater, and you were in a queue. If you moved out of a queue, there's a guy there with something to beat you with, even though you're paying your money to get in to watch a show.
Why?
Because everyone has to queue. We queued to buy food. We queued to go to the places we were going to. If you moved out of line, the way to kind of bring you into line is to beat you. Look at our politics. Same thing. So it was this unending way, this unending beatings that made many of us, kind of move away from that system.
So how then? I mean, given both of you, but particularly yourself there, John, you've got that sort of like personal history. This is what it was like for you at school. You're a naughty boy at school. You're getting beaten. You come to the UK secondary school. Did it repeat itself?
No. This is exactly what I was saying. Uganda, I know the rules in which I'm playing, and I know how to break them.
Yeah.
I understand it. I understand why I'm being called naughty.
Yes.
Like one of the things, I was in an assembly, and they were like, you have to speak English.
Yes.
And I had an argument with the teacher, like, you're stopping us from speaking our mother tongue. This language you're forcing us to speak.
Yeah.
We don't even understand. I was like 10 or 9. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was just not in that.
Yeah.
I come to the UK, and I see what it means to be a naughty child. Disrespecting teachers, that's something you don't do. That it doesn't matter. Like even in this argument I'm having with the teacher, it's very respectful. It's not, I'm not. You don't abuse teachers.
Yeah.
You don't throw things at teachers. You don't swear. You do not swear.
And you did see that.
So I see that, and I'm like, oh, this is a different level.
Yeah.
And I just disappeared
Yeah.
as a child. Because I could not, there's a lot of things I didn't understand. And I think for the first 2 years, I was so quiet. I was so
you didn't have a
quiet.
voice then?
Did not have a voice. Did not know what the voice needed to be.
Yeah.
Did not know. So it took. I became the best child. I became like I'm really good friends with teachers I became the model student. I became a prefect. I was head of year and I became the model student for being a naughty child, so to say.
Wow, that's incredible, isn't it? And how did that begin to make you feel as a person then?
I do think this is why I really appreciate going to Parkwood and not to a school like Notre Dame or All Saints, which are like more academic and more in sort of in affluent areas and stuff. I think there was a benefit in me going to Parkwood that allowed me to find my voice and who I was actually.
Well, that thing about, the idea there about find your voice, find out who you are then. We were talking earlier about you went into theatre, into sort of performing arts there. That isn't the normal sort of like pathway or expectations for, children of migrants from Africa or from the Caribbean. I mean, how did that come about?
How was the conversation with your parents when you?
You got straight to it,
actually,
haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
Do you know what? Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm a bit disappointed that it wasn't a bad conversation.
Oh, you wanted the story behind it.
The story. I didn't get it. So there was something. So I'll come to the parents' conversation. So the first time I got involved in theatre was in school in Uganda, primary school, and I was playing the assistant of a witch doctor, and you needed to, and then there was singing, but you needed to have shoes to be able to be part of it. New shoes, shiny shoes, and I remember my mom putting in so much effort to make sure I got those shoes.
Wow.
That always stayed with me because that told me that she confirms this. The pair of shoes was like, no, this is what my son wants to do. And I, the mother, I affirm it. Son, go do your thing. So that always stayed with me.
Did you do a good performance though?
I remember. I felt, I was like the ancestors. They were talking. they were speaking through me. But then, so I come to the UK, and so in Uganda we have grammar classes. For English, which here it's lit and language. But we had grammar classes for English. So I had a timetable. I'm dyslexic, and I had a timetable, and it said drama. For me, I saw grammar, right? So I turn up to this grammar class, and the teacher is making us play games. It's like, what kind of grammar is this? Like, this is grammar? Okay, cool. So, I was like, play theater. I was like, this looks more like, theater. And I was like, oh, drama. Right. And then got into that. Year 9 is when you're supposed to pick what GCSEs you're going to do. I get into year 9, and I'm the sports guy of the school. I think my record still haven't been beaten in athletics. Like, I was like the sports champions and everything. Everybody thought John is going to do BTEC PE. And I did. I applied for BTEC PE, but then they put me down for BTEC Performing Arts by mistake. I was like, let's go for it.
Oh, so it was as simple as that.
Yeah, why not?
And so you tell the parents you're going to do performance instead. And
the parents, then the Olympics. I was doing the Olympics. I was volunteering for the Olympics in 2012. And then I get a radio interview, like a radio.
So you were part of that big army of volunteers.
Yes, yeah. And I get a radio interview because of that at the BBC, and on the radio, the the presenter asks me what I'm doing after A levels. So at this point, I'd auditioned for drama school, got in and everything. And I just told them, I was like, if I know my parents are listening, now is the time to tell them, because I'm on the radio. This is how they'll find out. And that's, so I said, I'm going to go to drama school, study acting. And then my dad called me after. Son, this is amazing. Why didn't you tell us? I was like, what? I wanted,
You wanted some
I
contention.
wanted some. Yes. But yeah, my dad was very.
Fight for
I
it.
wanted to fight, like,
No, I was
like-
given full blessing.
Yeah.
And what school did you go to for drama?
It's called Rose Bruford.
Oh yeah, I've now heard of Roots
In London, yeah. So yeah, it's like a big deal getting in. Everybody who's getting in is telling the parents. I'm going to the auditions. People are driving in with their parents, and me, I'm just standing up by myself.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit. Remember, I met you last at that event at the library where the guy who'd been the first black person to be at the
ballet.
Royal Ballet School there, and he talked about, he was a boarder and how, he caught the bus to go. And there's people literally being brought in by helicopter. So, you're in a completely different world then.
Yeah, this wasn't like that. Like, it wasn't to that level, people coming in with helicopters. But I was certainly among people who were, wealthy. You're like, there was a lot of wealth. And I remember this one time a friend of mine, say friend, then came, like 2 weeks to go, they came to me and said they were so broke. Like, they were damn, they looked so stressed, right? I was like, yo, bro. And I had 20 quid to last me the 2 weeks. I'd planned it. Like, okay, so we're going to make this £20 work. I almost offered him 10 of my 20, But they just looked so depressed. Like, I was so broke with 2 weeks to go. And then something just told me, just ask him how much he's got left. Had 500 quid left for 2 weeks. I was like, right. This is the world we are in. This is the fight, right? Well, not a fight, but this is the game.
Yeah.
Right? Some people are coming to it mentally at such a different place from other people. And that place is dependent on socio-economic background.
Yeah.
Because if you're thinking for 500 quid for 2 weeks is a struggle, and someone, if you're competing in the same arena, right?
Absolutely. And isn't that, because I don't know if you've ever read David Harewood's book, and he goes to I don't know if it's RADA or
I think it was RADA.
RADA, yeah.
And when he comes out, when he's there, he feels quite protected. It's a very protective environment. Everybody's sort of like, they've got real focus. It's hard, but we're all doing the same thing. Similar to that ballet person in there. But coming out, it's something different. And he really struggled where he had those two breakdowns as such there. Coming out, how do you then sort of like, I've trained, I want to make something. How was that then to manage that period?
Yeah, I agree with David Harewood. The beauty of drama school, certainly for me, is you felt safe. In terms of the teaching, in terms of, I certainly felt safe. Like, the curriculum wasn't for my voice or my body or my, there was things I had to find to change here and there to make it work for me. It's not built for my body, you know what I mean? But in terms of feeling safe in there and trying things and whatnot, yeah, absolutely. Coming out is, I always say, you learn to drive after you've passed the test, right? That's the thing they say, right? And this was like that. This was like that, because when you go in, they crush you down completely. You become completely naked, and then you have to start finding what that thing is, talent, the thing that took you there in the first place. You become you become technical, and then you have to sort of refine back the grit, and that takes some jobs, takes a few practices and here and there, and it took me about 5 years to go right. that's what that was. You know, at some point, I think there was a moment that I arrived to, and I was like, okay, the training was needed. But then you have to do the work after you've done the training to make sure that you don't lose the thing that took you there in the first place, that got you in.
So, I mean, when you wrote the play about the child soldiers then, was that a part of that journey as such, they're finding your voice? Because it was, you know, if people haven't seen it, it is an incredible piece of work. I mean, even when you, first of all, even when you read the description of what the play's about, there's not been that many, there's not much on that subject matter. You know, large parts of the world's stories just don't get told, do they?
No, and I think so. For me, in answering your questions, was that from part of the training? Yes. There was actually a movement section that we did in the training called solo stories.
Right.
Where you had to go and develop a story, and it's just you in it, and it's you telling the story, and you had to write it, sort of direct it yourself, and sort of create it yourself. In writing Far Gone, I sort of borrowed most of what we learned in terms of technique and style and everything. What we learned from that solo story exercise, and sort of translated it to what Far Gone became. So it's a one-person show. There's four characters in it that are all played by myself, and it's so yeah, absolutely. But I'm taking in terms of training, I'm taking something I'm learning from the teacher went to La Coque, so French sort of training movement styles, adding in some African storytelling in there, adding in some British training in there, and then the story being a very Ugandan story, brutal. It's a story about a child soldier. We follow a child soldier from being kidnapped to becoming how he becomes. The training and everything, how he becomes a child soldier. So I'm like, there are different languages that are speaking to me simultaneously. But the training definitely it carry on to that, and it helped. By the time I'm doing Far Gone, I'm discovering who I am as an artist. And I am all these things. I am the guy that went to drama school. I am a Ugandan. You know what I mean? I am. That's a voice I want to carry.
But isn't there any pressure of like sometimes we talk about the creative burden in terms of the artists, and either the artists, because the artist process is based out of either personal trauma or reflection, and sometimes reflection can be traumatic because it's like you are having to search parts of yourself that you haven't gone that deep. But then also at the same time the birthing of that process to share it with the world that may sometimes not even understand what you're trying to convey. How is your mental well-being within that space of inception, so to speak?
I mean, I truly believe, I hold that, but as an artist, as somebody whose job it is to look at society or take your experience and everything that you have, channel that in yourself, and then package it in a way that is accessible to hopefully enough of the world, so that you're letting out something. I believe that by the time the idea comes to you, the concept comes to you, it has been traveling for generations. It's been doing a journey that's thousands of years old. But it's coming to you, it's arriving to you at this point in your life, in the lineage, because one, it thinks you're ready for it, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, skillfully, ready for. You may not be, but you could step up, and sort of and hopefully deliver it. I hold that with me with every project I do.
Was it There's this South African thinker. No, it's not. Yeah, I call him a South African thinker. What's the guy's name? He's on social media. He says we carry our ancestors with us.
We do.
You know, and I was saying to my wife recently that when somebody greets you, you know, sort of like in the traditional African sense, they will say, "Oh, you're Lungane, son of so and so, of the so and so clan." You know what I'm saying? So they will mention your whole lineage just to see you.
Yeah.
Even like when we say Sagubona, in my it's either South Africa or Zimbabwe. Sagubona means we see you. And then your answer is like, we are here.
We're here.
Yeah, we are here. And it plays within that whole Pan-African, you know, sort of like Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. We are
You know
because you are, because
Yeah,
we
you
are, you know.
Yeah.
When we say Ngumbani,
Yeah, Ngubani, yeah.
who
Who are you?
are you?
Yeah.
Who is standing in front of me right now?
Yeah.
I am all of them.
I am all of them. Yeah, I hear you, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I am all of them.
Yes, yeah.
And for me, art and hopefully the plays that I'm writing and the things that I'm exhibiting as an artist, hopefully have that same accountability and responsibility, you know? So, and that for me feels protective.
But isn't it difficult though to feel to carry that responsibility with you though?
Oh, it's a challenge.
It is a challenge.
And because you, I guess for me, because I know I'm carrying that responsibility, I need to be so sure and make sure that I am doing the work to make sure that I am representing in the best possible way that I can.
But that is the old Dubois sort of. That's like a double burden, isn't it? A double bind.
Yeah.
That you're an artist and you want to produce the best work you can, but you've also got this other responsibility as well. Because as you were talking, I was thinking about your play there, and I wanted to. And the question I'm going to ask is, how did you feel about presenting a story about Uganda, which is a fairly awful story, isn't it? But at the same time, you know, so few stories are told about Uganda that actually some people might say, well, why have you got this story? You know, what's but it's a story to be told.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it might be, as you say, the way I tell it, therefore, is so critically important.
Yeah. And for me, the crucial thing is understanding why it needs to be told. So it's a child soldier story. I was nearly one of those child soldiers. I was nearly kidnapped by the Lord's Resistance Army that we talk about in the play. So I was nearly one of these kids, and I'm trying to go. That was nearly me.
Yes.
These are my people. These people have walked the same steps that I've walked. The only difference is I came to the UK when I was 11 and my life became something else. Yeah. Right?
But it could easily have been something else.
Could I it could have easily been something
you know,
else.
as you're saying that, I'm thinking there was the who I am is maybe 200, 300 years ago, somebody who is captured and is on a ship across the Atlantic there. And just by dint of something, that's been my sort of like passageway as such.
Yeah, you just shift it on the campus by a micro degree.
Yes.
And it's a different...
it's a different
and the further you go in time, the wider, you know, that difference is, right? So for me, I'm holding that, but there has to come a point as an artist where I have to let that go.
Yeah.
And I can't let that be I have to now be objective about the thing that I'm creating. Do people understand it? Do people get it? Do people, you know, is it communicating the message I wanted to communicate? I will let the accountability and the stories and the heritage get me started.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where it's not helpful. It has to be let go.
Yeah.
It's still there, you know.
But then doesn't that, it sort of kind of mirrors the human experience in a sense, and also as we are dealing with the whole idea of mental wellness and what have you.
Yes.
I think it goes to that thing that sometimes the thing that becomes our crutch, the crutch in one sense can steady you for as long as it is useful, either until the legs grow stronger, right? And then eventually you try and walk without them. But sometimes, sometimes it's easier to kind of use the crutch for a long while.
Yeah.
Because look at you, I mean, especially with the playwrights, with a lot of playwrights, I've known playwrights who are synonymous with a certain style. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, oh yeah, so-and-so is known for this. And then it's like, even like as an actor, you become typecast as this particular character. I look at people like Jason Statham. Statham is the same in every film. You know what I'm saying?
Longoni had a film career.
No,
And he's picked out Jason Statham because he was a stuntman as well.
Come on.
It's all coming out.
Yes, it's all coming out.
It's not true, bro. It's not true. The point come on, Donald. The point I'm trying to make is, before I was so rudely interrupted, is how do you stay? I mean, like, how do you actually try and kind of move away from being pigeonholed into any particular thing? Because remember, as a people, actually, as a people of color, we are known for, there are certain stereotypes which some of them we will never outlive them. They become part of our story.
But stories matter. If we tell the stories the right way, we can change that perception. I think it's why, storytelling for me is like the biggest. It's like it can shift so much.
Yes.
Whatever perception we have can be changed if we tell stories the right way, with the right people. I think in terms of sorry, what was your question?
The question is, how do you? I'll probably kind of let me reshape it in terms of how do you keep on being fresh? You know what I mean? Even though you are working within an area that that usually likes to pigeonhole us into a certain space. You know what I'm saying?
I tell stories that I believe need to be told.
Okay.
Full stop. That's why I started a theatre company,
Yes.
Roots Mbili Theatre.
Yeah, Roots Mbili, yeah.
Here in Sheffield, because I was like, I recognized, one, my voice and who I am, my story, my voice, is not the UK theatre industry. Wasn't built for it. It's not built for it. It's even black writers who are writing in the UK are not writing for my voice. You know, I'm from Sheffield. I've been in Sheffield for 20 years, and I sound like this. You're never gonna cast someone from Sheffield who sounds like this. I've been here for 20 years. I know these streets. I go to cafes, people know my name.
Yeah.
You know, I go to bars and people know exactly what I'm drinking. You know what I mean? Like, I went to church here. I went to school here. I am from Sheffield. I sound like this. No one would ever think to cast somebody and say they're from Sheffield.
So
And they think of you.
I'm going to jump on another matter because you're co-founder of and director of Migration Matters. Do you think some people might think you've just recently arrived?
Probably.
Yes.
You know, people look at me and they probably go, "Oh, well, sounds a bit African." And, you know, they can hear the African twang.
Because that's the
They're
thing.
gonna
Like,
assume.
when I opened the door for you guys, I'm like, this brother has been here since he was 11.
Yeah.
It sounds like me.
Ah,
But I have been here.
Yeah.
Since, I mean, for 32. This is my 33rd year.
Exactly.
And they still sound the same.
And this is my point. My point. So these voices that don't sound like we perceive them to sound, well, they don't sound from the areas that they live in. They exist in areas that we don't perceive to sound a certain way.
Yes.
But those voices exist in the community.
Yes.
And they've been there for time. So who's telling those stories?
Yeah.
But
And so your theatre company then set up in Sheffield.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be then? this theatre company?
Okay, so we are called Roots Mbili Theatre.
Yeah.
Roots
And
Mbili.
Mbili, you might, is two.
Yeah.
So two Roots Theatre.
Yeah.
And this came to, the idea I'm going with and hoping to continue with is that for everything that we do, every production, every project we do, there's at least two roots coming together to create something, right? So roots of culture, roots of language, roots of, and that's where Lines came from. Lines was a project we did, which was looking at the historical, political, and cultural history of Uganda and Palestine.
Yeah.
So we are bringing two roots together. But for us, our root is sub-Saharan Africa.
Yes.
That's the root of Roots Mbili. That's where we are. That's what root we are sitting in. And then alongside that, we want to invite other roots to come in and sort of work with us and create something new.
Yeah.
I hope. And so, like for example, so I'm from Uganda, and I'm always careful with African theater companies, with organizations calling themselves African, but only sitting within one particular area or country, or I'm very careful about that. So I'm from Uganda. Far Gone is a Ugandan story. Never Look Back, which is African soldiers in World War II, which I wrote and we are hoping to produce in the future. I won't talk too much about that, but hopefully we're going to produce that. I'm writing that. I'm from Uganda. The central characters are from Uganda, but the story is around East and Southern African soldiers who served in the war. So it's presenting different parts of... and then we got another show, Away From Home, which is a Zambian story, looking at why African couples who migrate to the UK, why there's such a high rate of separation and divorce. But for that, we go, okay, let's go to Zambia. And
Why is Zambia? Poor Zambia.
Mess up the Zambia. Let's talk to the Zambians.
Let's talk to the Zambians.
No, I did research, and the Bamba. So for me, every play I write, everything I make, I always ask myself, what is the canvas? So the canvas is the thing that we are painting the play on, right? That has to exist. That is the reason. That's the why. That's the who. Yes. And then the what is the play. We are going to paint this play on this thing. And for the canvas of Away From Home, for me sits in mainly the cultural differences between how life is lived back home to how there's finance, there's religion and everything,
and also the actual sort of like the effect of leaving somewhere to come to somewhere else, and you may not come together. You may have different types of opportunities. I mean, tell me if I'm right or wrong here, Lungani, but I've spoken to a number of Zimbabwean men who have spoken about how they felt about coming here and not being able to access work in the way in which they thought they would do, and yet their partners, maybe as nurses, etc., have been able to. I'm not saying it's been easy for them.
It's just talking about my play.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm talking about your play.
The mother is a nurse,
Can you imagine the part of the script writer?
The father is going to,
But that's what guys have said that to me, and they've talked about they've got a job there. They've been able to maybe even begin to create a career which gives them some sort of status here, whereas. The movement for me as a male from X place, I've lost status.
But that's the thing. But also on top of that is because remember most of the men in our home countries, they occupy a certain space where we're talking about this morning about the feeling of subservience of our sisters, our mothers. Because they always, as much as our mothers work as hard as they do, they always have to play a co-star role in the home. The father still occupies that space Now he comes over to this part of the world where now he ain't viewed as, because he ain't bringing the bread, right?
No,
So-
and that's so. This is exactly once the who does the man become if they are not the breadwinner? What's their identity in the family, right?
Yeah.
It becomes. You know,
And that's a
it
big,
becomes,
broad issue, isn't it? I mean, I've been reading the paper today.
looking at
about-
the interviews that most of the interviews that I've done and stuff, it's a common thread.
Yeah.
The women come over here, mostly nursing, stay for a couple of years. They're now earning more money than they were earning back home, and the man is coming, leaving probably a good job back home, where it's not just the money, it's the respect
Yeah, yes, status.
that comes
Yeah.
that comes with that job, and you're then coming here, and it's just
And that's the pressure. That's the real
It's-
pressure, isn't it? Because I mean, we're talking about now, but you know, I'm talking about, you know, for me, when I talk to guys of my age group whose parents came here with a Windrush, that that lack of status for men has played through for so many years, and some men have found it very, very difficult. And you know, they can go back home, and life can be difficult at home in the domestic environment. And then that plays out again with the children, and you go into this cycle then of difficulties, which you know, it's so hard. And therefore, we see. I mean, we started this podcast last year, and when we asked David Bullis, we asked David Busu, who's the chief exec of SACMA, why do we need SACMA 40 years on? And his answer, and we knew the answer, but to hear it again, 40 years ago, black men in this country were 6 times
Six
more
times, yeah.
likely to be sectioned under the Mental Health Act. Today it's 5 times. And all these different ways you look at it, you've got pressure. You know, different layers of pressure there.
gone down one.
Yes,
40 years.
yes,
Yeah,
40
nice.
years.
Nice move down.
You know, and the stories which you're talking about there, you know, just that one, that story there which you're working on there about, you know, breakdown of couples and the difficulties that presents for the family for maybe recent migrants, is one which you know will have an effect on everybody in that family and that community.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where the responsibility comes on, because if the play is successful, both men and women and children who have gone through this will feel well represented, and will feel like the voice and the argument has been heard. It fails if one side
Yes, absolutely.
fails, you know,
Yes.
if it's imbalanced, you know, it fails. There's a reason it keeps happening I mean, I spoke to a pastor who told me that like the rate of people that he counsels of African couples who come in that end up getting divorced is over 95%. 95%
And see, and, you
don't
know,
make it.
I would never have thought of that. And you started with that, stories to be told. And these are
And this is
stories which are
happening-
not being told,
This
are
is
they?
happening every day.
Yeah.
It's happening around the country. We're dealing with this on a daily basis.
Last week we spoke about the collective responsibility of the community and actually the conversations that we have around our tables, around our churches, in the spaces where we meet about the state of who we are as a community. I know we don't talk as much as we should, and I think we should do better, because I think if we understood that most of our story, there's a similarity in that story, maybe we will do better. Because many of us, when we came, we were never told that we were going to have to deal with what we are dealing with, from the weather to the food to everything else.
The language, the
Yeah, but if you
accents.
can't- but
you know,
I mean, this is in a
people.
sense really the question about the role of art, maybe in giving a voice, telling a story, which sometimes you said earlier about we don't necessarily always have the words. That I'm basically, in a sense, trying to say, I can see the role of art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet,
yeah.
as you said, when you were at theatre school, it wasn't built for you. And
Yeah.
we were saying earlier that so often you can go to the theatre, and you must see this, where you look out into the audience and you don't see yourself.
You don't see yourself.
It doesn't matter that actually there might be
And,
you on
and,
the
and actually, the bodies on stage.
on stage.
Are you?
Yes.
You know, I've been to theater gigs,
Yes.
music gigs and everything, and you're like, where are we? We are on stage, but we are not here.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Maybe that's the story of Sheffield.
you know, it's like, yeah, and I think there's question there. There's a difference between casting or programming people of color, and there's a deep work that needs to be done. There's a reason why middle class white people end up in these places, right? That's a psychological thing. That's a financial thing. That's not even. Finance is like on the side. To be honest, you spend money where you want to spend money. I think. But there's a reason why experiencing culture for us is not in the foreground. It's the same reason why kids who want to become artists, theater makers, or musicians or whatever find it hard to tell their parents about it. It's the same reason, because it's not something that is being seen as that is has a tangible or respectable ground in the community. We start respecting it, those conversations get easier, and we start seeing more of us in these spaces.
Can I, because I'm mindful of the time here, and we could talk forever, because
Go on.
it's been an incredible conversation. I said before about your co-founder, co-director of Migration Matters, and tell us a little bit about Migration Matters. You're a migrant, I'm a migrant.
Yes.
Why does it matter? Why does this festival matter?
Why? I'm not a co-founder. I'm on the board.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Of directors. No. We've been going for 10 years. This is our 10th year, and I mean, I speak to Sam Holland, who's the founder, every time about it, and he always goes back to saying, Sheffield is full of cultures from around the world. It's the first city of sanctuary. It's a city that's rich in different languages, different voices, different people. And what Migration Matters is doing is just saying, hey, we love that, and we are gonna celebrate that.
And in the political time which we find ourselves, I found myself, first of all, we were talking about this last week, having this quite sort of like being unmoored by, the rise of a cynicism, a skepticism, and which is questioning my sense to be here.
Yeah.
And then I turn it around and say to myself, and Migration Matters is a part of this for me, which is to actually have that voice which celebrates the diversity which we have. It's become something we don't do now, which is to say that diversity which is here in Britain is something to celebrate. This diversity which we have here in Britain is a strength which we have, but it's actually become, we don't do it now.
Yeah. I think
if we ever did do it.
The cliche of we are all the same, we're all humans, we are all the same. That's nonsense. Yes, we are all humans, but we're not the same. We are not. We are different. We speak different languages. We like different foods.
We're different as well with what you did when you went. My aunt's, just with that, there was a chill in my body there because it was like you were saying, yes, behind me and before me is a line.
Is a line, and that's the case for everybody.
Yes.
And it's about, number one, accepting that we are different. And that's a brilliant thing. when we can use that difference to actually create more exciting things, as opposed to use that difference to divide us, which is what the political landscape likes to do. You know, which is the thing that they preach and use to divide. But no, let's celebrate difference. Let's celebrate. Let's use differences to create things that we never imagined.
Yes.
Before. We only, if you look at the modern world and the way it's improved. It's improved by people traveling, seeing ideas in one place, and borrowing it and taking it back to their home, right? And that's because there's difference, you know. So for us at Migration Matters, we go, no, we are different. No, we are, and we love that, and we're gonna throw a 9-day party to celebrate that. We're gonna put every art form in there. There's music, there's theater, there's poetry, there's dance, there's talks, there's the exhibitions, to just say we love difference. And
we've got a question which I'm going to let Lungani
Yeah,
ask,
oh,
which is a
well,
question which we always end with.
Yeah. We usually, I mean, like if you remember, we were speaking about our well-being and what have you. What are you doing, you know, like to make sure that your well-being is in tip-top shape?
Is in tip-top shape. Tip-top shape. Ooh,
Yeah.
Need a lot of work for that. So for me, I think I've learned that for me to feel well mentally, I need to feel well physically first. That's like so I need to make sure that I'm eating the right way, I'm exercising the right way, and doing all those things, and then and I have to be intentional about that.
Yeah.
If I miss one meal, I lose weight like it's crazy. It just goes. And
You're a lucky man then, aren't you?
And my body just. No, but it's not good. It's not good.
Hey, bro.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
So I have to be very intentional. Very, very intentional about that. And I'm a big advocate for therapy. Big advocate for therapy. I think I'm trying to do it when I'm in a good place, as opposed to when I feel like I need it. Actually, when I feel like I'm in a good place and I'm in a place where, I'm feeling good, things are going well and everything, do therapy then, because then I'm approaching it in a way that.
Well, one of the people we've had, and he's well known in the community, Delroy Hall. He says so strongly, he's a psychotherapist, that, you know, it was basically a sort of a call to men. You spend money on your clothes, you spend money on your car, spend money on yourself, on your mind, your body. And for me, that resonates so much. And to, you know, proudly say, yes, I'll talk to somebody. I'll go and pay to talk to someone to help me. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. I think it's if you don't look after you, nobody is. Like, it's not. Friends and family can be there for you as much as they can and everything, but looking after oneself, I think, starts with one.
Yes.
And then you're able to look after other people. You know, you're able to be there. I completely agree with Delroy. I think, but for me, it's. I think there's something that we always talk about in the developing countries community, which are always more conservative. If we're honest, like I'll speak for most African countries are conservative. You know, in the way that we think and the way that we move forward. And if we're honest, like the way the world is going now, like, I mean, you know, it's like it's going more and more into that realm of conservatism. And I think with that can come this macho
A way of being male.
Yeah.
Which
Men
is
are men.
hard, which is
You
hard
know?
for lots of us.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
There's
yeah.
nothing like a really, really male environment to make you feel a bit tense
Exactly.
and anxious.
Anxious. That's
Yeah,
right. As many of
yeah,
us
yeah.
anxious.
Yeah. But let's actually talk about that, and let's actually break that down. How is that helpful? How is that
That's it.
helpful? Yeah. So I think looking after yourself is number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, like to really end off, it's like, like when you are comfortable in your own skin, you don't really feel the sense of to postulate, either amongst other men. We spoke about this a few weeks ago about the whole idea of feeling like the alpha male, which for me I think is nonsense again. But I'm sure for those who feel like alpha male is good for them. Because for me, I'm no alpha at all. I mean, I'm probably kind of beta at best. Oh, what comes
Good
up
day.
with
On the
beta?
good day, I've been
Beta.
beta.
What's after
On
the
a
beta
good
one?
day.
On a good day.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anyone, like after you are forgotten after the second. I mean, like you're just an acolyte, not even an acolyte. It's just like
But I think this idea of alpha male sits in a conservative philosophy.
Yeah.
It really does. It sits in this man and women, women, and this is what a man is supposed to be, and this is,
But it's that competition as well, isn't it? When you're in that room, in that competition to be the alpha male, there is. I personally feel, I've felt some of my worst when I've been trying to compete in such an environment.
Yeah.
And some of my worst selves come out. The things about me I dislike most come out in those settings. I'd rather be in a setting where actually those things which about yourself you feel better about are given an opportunity to actually sort of like exist and flourish.
And that's what Lungani you're talking about knowing who this skin is, right?
Yeah.
And being comfortable with that.
And and it's when you're in the sort of like a brotherhood where that space is given to you, there is sometimes I'm a member of participating in 2 men's groups, and that brotherhood which you get there just lifts you. You feel like the conversations, that sense of being, that trust which has come from one another, it can lift you a lot.
Yeah.
So what can we hope to see? Like, I mean, you brought us some
got some migration matters brochures over there. Hope.
Little plug.
Let's plug.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and never miss an episode. Until next time, keep those conversations going and the clippers buzzing.